In video games, we are so accustomed with being the hero, the center of the universe, the core cog of an insurmountable machine that we didn't have the time to grasp the concept itself, the concept of being a savior in these stories. In video games, we are so accustomed to looking at a problem and wondering, how can we fix this? We rarely ponder whether the problem is actually fixable. What if you were never meant to fix that problem? What if you were unable to? And at the end of that journey, you are facing the inevitable. You are presented with a consequence that you didn't get a chance to fix, a moral dilemma where you didn't have any choice but to press on forward. There is a major spoiler going forward, so before we dive in further, I have to remind you that Outer Wilds is a game that you should experience for yourself. I highly recommend playing the game until you finish it, or if you can't, then watch someone else play it. I recommend watching Outer Wilds' Cut, or Supercut, by Soviet Womble. Or realistically, you can watch any YouTuber that have played this game. All good? Then we can proceed. We woke up under the stars and right beside a campfire. And beside this said campfire is Slate, who told us to meet with Hornfels to get our launch codes. Before actually meeting with him, we have the opportunity to take in our home planet and get to know its residents, like Slate, Thefra, Gosan, and Hal. But eventually we have to meet with Hornfels to get our codes. Although in the observatory, or launch control, whichever you want to call it, we can see multiple interesting pieces, like the quantum rock, the anglerfish, and most importantly, the Nomai writings. A Nomai by the name of Cassava said that Felix and her have already finished construction and is now calibrating a device. At this moment, we have no idea what device they are talking about. Continuing the writing, Felix replied that the Rock, our planet's moon, doesn't have any atmosphere, which will make the calibration a lot simpler, and she's thrilled to continue their search. It is safe to say that this device they are talking about are located in Rock. In this writing, there is also a symbol of some kind of star or something, which we cannot translate. After pondering around downstairs, we can head upstairs to find Hornfels and ask him about our launch codes. After finding Hornfels at the top of the observatory, they excitedly hand over our launch codes. They mention how giddy they are that we will be the first astronaut ever equipped with a Nomai translator tool. And with the codes finally in hand, we make our way back down the wooden spiral ramp, through the quiet museum exhibits, back to our ship. But just as we walk towards the exit, unlike other games, Outer Wilds doesn't have a set quest you need to finish. It does not have a waypoint, quest marker, or even an inkling of direction. You need to think like a Hearthians do, and to boldly explore wherever you want. But for the sake of the video, let's visit our planet's moon, the Rock. There we shall meet Esker, and after having a chat with him, we know that he is one of the first astronauts from the Outer Wilds venture and is now residing here. He also mentioned that there is a place in the northern side of Alorok that he uses to listen to the other astronauts. He said to give it a visit. It is the best place to listen to the other astronauts if we want. Heading there, we can see that there is a structure that looks like a bridge or a pier, presumably built by Esker himself. We can also see that there is a pedestal with a book on it. Interacting with the book revealed that
Esker's signal scope log. Day 48. Still not picking up Rybek's banjo from Brittle Hollow. I'm sure they're fine, but I'll feel better once I can hear their music. Day 51. Listen to Chirk play for a while today. Unrelated, someone should tell Porphy and Guyson their flirting is not subtle from an aerial perspective. Day 55. Banjo music coming in loud and clear today. Sounds like Rybek's doing okay. That oaf, I was worried. Day 63. Today I thought I heard something strange. I don't know, it was probably nothing. Day 70. No, it's back again today too. Something strange is coming from Timberhearth. Day 76. Okay, I know this is crazy, but the sound from Timberhearth sounds exactly like Feldspire's harmonica. But Feldspire disappeared in space ages ago. It can't be them. Day 88. It's still here. This is creepy. Maybe my signal scope is broken? I better go talk to Nace.
after going here, we have so many options to go. We could venture out into space and into the other planet, or explore Alorok a little bit more. Back in the observatory, we remembered that Felix and Cassava apparently built a structure or a device in here. And lo and behold, there is a structure here, although a broken one at that. It has this divot in the middle with a ball that could be dragged around into the slots with the other planet's symbol on them. This revealed that this device apparently located the other planets like Brittle Hollow, Giant's Deep, and our Sun. Although there is the same symbol that we see back in the observatory, which when the ball is placed inside, the locator cannot determine its location. Going downstairs, we can see that there is another section to this structure, and walls with the Nomai's writing on them that we can read.
I was upstairs testing the eye signal locator, and it can hear and follow the signals from the Sun, Giant's Deep, and Brittle Hollow. However, something strange is happening when I ask the eye signal locator to follow the eye signal. The device's indicator rotates wildly and never points to just one direction.
This is a curious result. It's possible the AI has stopped calling out its signal.
How?
I see. I most likely calibrated the locator incorrectly. Privet, my apprentice, and I will make adjustments and try again. An update. Disappointingly, everything is correctly calibrated after all.
It saddens me to posit this, my friends, but I believe this locator cannot detect the eye's signal. We would need to build a more sensitive device if we want to locate the eye of the universe.
Then we will build it. Don't lose hope, Cassava. Our search for the Eye is what brought our clan to this place. We won't give up so easily.
It is safe to say that the Nomai are trying to locate the Eye of the Universe. They said it is also the reason why their clan moved here. There is also another set of writings we can read.
Where should this new, more sophisticated locator be built? It may need to be larger than this eye signal locator is.
The southern glacier on Brittle Hollow has ample available space. I could construct a new building to house this proposed locator.
Yes, let's build there. I imagine our young friend Konoi would enjoy that immensely. He always held a great interest in the Eye, especially for a child born so long after the crash.
I will begin construction on Brittle Hollow's South Pole immediately, then.
Anona and those of us originally stranded on Ember Twin built a quantum moon locator there, but the heat of the sun made its construction challenging. I wouldn't recommend building on that planet.
Walking around a little bit more, there's also a recording here from one of the astronauts that is left here.
Okay, wow. I've seen this ruin in other travelers' pictures, but seeing it for myself, it's really old, isn't it? But wow, this is the coolest day of my life. Okay, time for some official notes. So this is some kind of Nomai locator. It can point out to different planets, which is incredibly cool, by the way. But from what little I can understand of the writing here, I think it was built to try to find something specific? I'm not sure. I was also able to translate something about the South Pole of Brittle Hollow, so I'll fly there to see if I can learn more. Yep, just gotta get back in the old ship and take off. Totally safe. Mostly safe. Oh, stars above.
At this point I was taking everything in. I froze in place trying to piece every single information I gathered. That is when I heard a music that was out of place. I rushed back upstairs to see that the sun was changing color to a very vibrant red. This is not normal, I thought, and so I rushed back to my ship to go back to the other planet. And that's when it happened. We are somehow went back to Timberhearth. Heading over to the observatory, we can see Hal and Hornfels are standing in front of the statue. Interacting with them reveals that they both are surprised that the statue of the Nomai has opened its eyes. And this is the journey you venture out on in Outer Wilds. Every 22 minutes, the sun dies, and you are thrown right back to the exact moment you woke up. Death isn't a game over screen here, it is the engine of the game. The only thing you keep when the world ends is the knowledge you gather. But because we are so conditioned by traditional video games and media, our immediate instinct isn't to just accept this fate. When we realize we are trapped in a time loop with an exploding star, our first instinct is to ask, how do I stop this? How do I fix the sun? It is the exact same mentality we see in pop culture whenever a time loop is introduced. Think about movies like Edge of Tomorrow or even the second season of Marvel's Loki. In those stories, the time loop is treated as a weapon. It is a narrative tool that gives the protagonist an infinite amount of time to use brutal trial and error to achieve an impossible goal. You die, you memorize the aliens' attack patterns, you spend centuries learning temporal physics, and you try again until you finally win. Even in classics like Groundhog Day, the time loop is ultimately treated as a puzzle the main character just has to figure out how to beat. We are taught that infinite time equals inevitable victory. So naturally, when we step into the boots of the hatchling, we assume we are meant to do the exact same thing. And as you begin searching for that answer, you discover that you aren't the only ones who looked at this solar system as a problem to be solved. Long before the Hearthians were peacefully roasting marshmallows, an ancient hyper-advanced species arrived with that exact same need for control, the Nomais. Now, a quick disclaimer before we dive into their history. I am deliberately going to leave out the specific puzzles and mechanics required to uncover these secrets. My goal is to give you the emotional beats of the story, the what and the whys, but leave the actual mystery solving for you to experience firsthand. We can see this desperate need for control in the construction of the Sun Station. The Nomai were obsessed with finding a mythical location called the Eye of the Universe. But because they only had enough resources to build a single orbital probe, they had to get dangerously creative. Their plan was sheer hubris. They built a machine designed to intentionally blow up the sun. They wanted to use the raw energy of the supernova to power the Ash Twin project, a device that would rip a hole in time and then send the probe's data 22 minutes into the past. This would allow them to fire their one probe millions of times in every conceivable direction until they found the eye. But the universe doesn't bend to our will just because we want it to. The plan failed. The Sun Station couldn't force the star to die. And before they could come up with a backup plan, a comet known as the Interloper entered the solar system and ruptured, blanketing the planets in lethal ghost matter. The Nomai were wiped out instantly, not in a blaze of heroic glory, but by a random, uncontrollable cosmic event. And for 200,000 years, their machine sat dormant in the dark, until today. The Sun Station didn't suddenly start working. The machines are waking up now simply because the sun has reached the end of its natural lifespan. From the beginning of their journey right until their demise, the Nomai viewed the Eye of the Universe as their justification for their downfall. See, the Nomai is a nomadic race of explorers and scientists who traveled the cosmos in a massive vessels. But one day they receive a signal from something that is older than the universe itself, the Eye of the Universe. Excited by this idea, they immediately warped their vessels to the coordinate only to end in a catastrophe. They lost their ship, their friends and family, and those who made it with escape pods are stranded on different planets. Their existence in our solar system is only justified if they find this eye of the universe, and that's why they relentlessly chase it. But as the universe itself denies them of their findings, they fail at what they are trying to achieve and are wiped out by natural phenomena. Their entire idea of conquest of the eye of the universe is tied with their downfall. In a sense, they do not want their whole existence to stop uncovering the secret of the universe itself, but as we all know, their existence is, or was, inevitably going to end. Unlike the Nomais, the Hearthians' existence is more laid back than them. The Hearthians do not possess the obsession to conquer every single planet or to venture out into the cosmos to answer a question that they do not have an answer to. It is the exploration that they have at heart. Sure, some of them are venturing out to space, but they do not do it to question their existence or to find out the reason the universe exists at all, but to explore for exploration's sake. If we are one of these Hearthians and we know that the universe is about to end in 22 minutes, what will we do? By this point we know that the Nomai, a race with incredibly advanced scientific inventions, are unable to even locate the eye of the universe. That means that whatever we do is meaningless, right? Church certainly agrees with us. They are one of the Outer Wilds Venture astronauts that are located in Ember Twin, one of the two planets circling around the sun that looks like an hourglass. They said that they saw the stars going supernova one by one and told us that they are going into a complete existential breakdown. But one idea kept Church in check, the idea of acceptance. When we talked to them at the end of the loop, they said that they accepted their fate, stopped crying and told us to sit with them and watch the stars die. It teaches us that just because something ends doesn't mean the time we spent experiencing it was a waste. We don't have to behave like the Nomai. We can accept the reality that our sun is about to explode and choose to be content with it. In the little time we have left, we can spend our final moments with the people we care about. We just need to appreciate the journey and finally let go. Whether we try to follow the footsteps of the Nomai or having a moment with Chert on Ember Twin, the sun still explodes. We could let go, or we could be obsessive and try to find the answer to the question we have in the back of our mind. What is this eye of the universe? How can it be older than the universe itself? If we cling into that question and kept on venturing ahead, we can find the answer we are looking for. But finding those answers requires the ultimate leap of faith. To actually reach the eye of the universe, the game asks you to make one final, terrifying choice. You have to turn off the time loop. You must willingly remove the core powering the Ash Twin project, permanently stripping away your safety net. By taking it, you are officially accepting that there are no more second chances. Your final run is a definitive commitment to the inevitable. When you finally take that core, repair the stranded Nomai vessel, and warp to the eye's coordinates, you aren't greeted by a grand control panel or a magical switch to fix the sun. Instead, you step out into a quiet, surreal void. As you look up into the sky, you don't see a future to conquer. You just watch the rest of the galaxies in the universe quietly blink out of existence one by one. It is the literal end of everything. In its final moments, the game strips away your spaceship, your translator, and your scientific tools. It places you in a dark quantum forest with nothing but a single campfire, and here, at the end of all things, you don't fight a final boss to win the game, you simply gather the friends you made along the way. You tune your instruments and you play one last song together. In the end, we don't save the universe. Timber Hearth still burns, but as our Hearthian song reaches its crescendo, the eye responds to the music, taking all of our memories and collapsing infinite possibilities into a single blinding spark, a new Big Bang. We couldn't stop our sun from dying, but by choosing to bear witness and by choosing to let go, we allowed a brand new universe to be born. The idea of being a savior is often thrown around and used so often that it is now stripped of its meaning. What does it mean to be a savior? What does it mean to save someone? Does taking someone's life for others mean you are a savior? Sometimes we wonder whether our action is right. We wonder if there is a consequence towards our actions. Is it better to let go rather than taking action that could prove the same or even worse than doing nothing? This game ultimately answered that question. It gives us the tool of time, the most powerful narrative device in existence, to find out what happened to the Nomais, to answer the question that they cannot answer, and finally struggle with our own ideology of letting go. We can see that the game fundamentally tells us that the universe is about to end, and no matter what we do, we cannot change that. But through this journey, we made a lasting relationship with our family, friends, and even strangers. And those people who stays with us through the end are what made it easier to let go. Thank you, and good night.